something completely different.
Then how did it become America?
See that? We've got to go back to when it all began. We've got to go back in time.
Back in time.
Back in time.
Back in time.
To the
Year 1000!
In the year 1000, Leif Erikson, a Norse explorer, set sail west from his camp in Greenland and discovered Newfoundland.
Oh, that and I.
It's believed he spent time near Cape Cod.
This is Cape Cod.
I like it. Just naughty enough.
It's 1492 and Columbus is trying to gather funding from King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain to try to find an ocean passage into India. Yo, Izzy, Ferdy, you guys want to pay for me and 3 boats to find an ocean passage in India?
This guy's out of his mind. Sure.
Really? Sweet.
We'll be waiting with piles of money for you when you get back.
Wow, thanks.
He'll never make it back.
Never gonna happen.
Now, Columbus didn't actually hit the mainland until 1498 on his 3rd voyage when he traveled to South America.
But he gets all the other European powers to start thinking about exploration and colonization. And speaking of colonization...
The first English settlement pops up in America in 1607 at Jamestown, Virginia. It was funded by wealthy Englishmen, and the people there were servants looking for a fresh start.
Tobacco would later become a big cash crop there.
But in England, there's some religious persecution going on.
Man, I wish I had my own church.
Are you telling me that you think everyone should be entitled to worship whatever God they want, in whichever way they see fit?
Yeah, man, that sounds great.
Well, you'll start your own church then.
Maybe I will.
Loser!
So, some English separatists set off on the Mayflower to stake their claim in America.
November 11th, they dock in Provincetown Harbor and stay aboard their ship the next day to draft the governing document of their colony, the Mayflower Compact.
In December 1620, the Pilgrims set foot on the land that would soon be called New Plymouth, with a growing relationship with the Wampanoag tribe and their king, Massasoit. And on the Harvest Festival of 1621, they celebrated the first
Thanksgiving! Can you pass the turkey?
Sure, can you pass the venison and some of the clams?
Just some green bean casserole for me, please.
There was no green bean casserole. The settlements continue to grow and flourish until they become the 13 original colonies, which included
Massachusetts,
New Hampshire,
Rhode Island,
Connecticut,
Delaware,
Pennsylvania,
Georgia,
New York,
Maryland,
Virginia,
North Carolina.
South Carolina.
and don't forget New Jersey.
In 1765, Great Britain imposed the Stamp Act, which was a tax placed on paper products in the colonies to increase the British military presence there.
However, the tax required British currency, so the colonists' paper money was not allowed.
The Stamp Act managed to offend nearly every colonist.
Oh, no!
And since they weren't represented in British Parliament,
No taxation without representation.
Became their battle cry.
In 1773, British Parliament placed the Tea Act on the colonies. It forced colonists to pay yet another tax that they didn't think was fair.
the colonists said, you want to tax us? Fine. Let's throw a party. It's Friday night. Yeah, it's Friday night.
The Boston Tea Party was a political protest by the Sons of Liberty, who on December 16, 1773, destroyed a shipload of tea.
Watch the language.
I said shipload. It was literally a ship loaded with British tea.
So, Britain put a blockade on Boston Harbor until the debt from the tea was repaid in its entirety.
Hey, you're gonna have to pay us back for that tea. Until you do, this harbor is closed.
Man, are you serious? Can't you just make me run laps or something?
So, in 1774, we had the first meeting of our Continental Congress. It was made up of 56 delegates from all the colonies except Georgia.
They were still besties with Great Britain.
Pick the side, Georgia.
And on July 4, 1776, the Continental Congress issued the Declaration of Independence, stating,
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these life, liberty, and the pursuits of happiness.
that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it.
And to institute new government.
And that's how we became the United States of America. Hello, students. My name is Trey.
I'm Mackenzie.
And I'm Ryan, and we are actors from Theater Square.
And we have come to your school all the way from Fayetteville, Arkansas, to teach you about one of our greatest interests.
Our true love.
We're here to talk to you about U.S. history.
Yeah, but we're not just going to talk to you about history. We're going to bring it to life.
Yeah, we're gonna kick down the walls and look behind the curtain.
Yeah, we're gonna rip into it like a bald eagle ripping into some fish guts. Whoa!
Yeah! Except maybe a little less graphic than that.
Oh, really not, though.
Look, I think this might be a good time to tell you all that we've been getting a little frustrated with the amount of material we're supposed to cover in a 45-minute show.
Yeah, I mean, U.S. history is a big subject. It's just too much. It's killing us.
Look, Ryan's already sweating.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's complicated.
It's actually too much. So we're not even gonna try.
Wait, what? Oh, hey everybody, this is Hannah.
Oh, yeah, she's our stage manager. She does all of our technical stuff.
And normally during the show, she doesn't talk.
What are you guys talking about? Well, we've just been thinking that maybe we shouldn't try to cover everything. Maybe we need to just narrow it down and cover a few big events.
Yeah, that sounds good.
No. Okay. Well, you see, we've been meaning to talk to you about this for like a couple weeks now. We really want to see if we can rewrite the scripts that may go into a little more detail in some of the sections.
Yeah, that speed round is fun.
So fun.
But we left out so much.
We mentioned dates and facts, but we don't even get into the controversies.
And I'm sweaty.
Yeah, Ryan is too sweaty.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, if everyone is ready, let's get back to the show. To the founding fathers.
Actually, Hannah, we're not ready. This is important. We don't want to just race through everything anymore.
We have a script. We were brought to this school to tell these students about all of U.S. history, okay? We don't have time to get off track. We need to be moving.
But Hannah, we don't want to stand in front of these students and talk about names and dates. We only have like 40 minutes anyway. Wouldn't it be better to focus on a few big ideas and go deeper in?
Yeah, like, wouldn't you all like to know more about the role of women in early colonial life? Yes. Thank you.
Or, you know, we mentioned that Columbus was commissioned by King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain to journey into the New World. But something that we didn't get to talk about that's just like, I don't know, like really interesting. Like something that I found out through all of my tireless research from reading one of his diaries, which not a lot of people have read. Like, I mean, I did, but not a lot of people did. Is that Columbus is one of the most unapologetically violent characters in U.S. history. Within a year of the Santa Maria being shipwrecked on the island of the Bahamas, half of the population was dead, and the others were abducted. The men were forced to work in the gold mines, and the women and girls were sold into slavery.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, many people don't, but I do.
It was really complicated. Okay, guys, this is completely off script. We were brought here to go through the U.S. history timeline and to make sure that these students hear all the names and dates and facts for the test. Well, how are we supposed to do that, Dana? You're talking about, like, what, over 500 years of history? It can't be done.
It can't be done.
Can't be done.
Well, it can't be done if you guys keep talking about it and wasting time.
We're gonna keep doing it though, right?
Yep.
All right, so as long as you know we're not gonna do it your way, I propose we do it our way. Whenever we do
No.
something,
You have to do what I say. I am the stage manager. You have to listen to me. Who made you stage manager? I didn't vote for you. My father was a stage manager. And his father was a stage manager. And his father's father was a stage manager. I come from a very long line of stage managing. It is my destiny that I too would become a stage manager. It is divine providence.
I don't think that's how that works.
yeah, you sound ridiculous.
We can do what we want. This is not a democracy. I'm in charge. What I say goes.
Whoa, you sound like a tyrant right now.
A tyrant.
Yeah, this isn't the United States of Hannah. We're free.
Yeah, we're being persecuted. All this taxing work memorizing the script that won't even represent us in the writing of it.
That's taxation without representation, bruh.
Right.
I say we form our own show. Right here and now.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen. I control the tech table. I have the computer and the speakers. You guys don't have anything.
We're our own show.
Fine. But don't expect me to bail you out when you need me. And you will. You'll come crawling back sooner or later. You always do.
And whatever.
Alrighty, friends, we've decided we require a certain amount of autonomy, though we are not being thwarted by our old stage manager, Hannah. So, we have formed our own show.
I think you're really going to like it.
Yeah, we're gonna dig a little bit deeper into some of the really interesting moments of U.S. history.
This is going to be great.
Yeah, and without the oppression of our unreasonable
so we don't have time to just sit around being happy.
Right.
We gotta get back to the show.
Awesome. Okay, so, are we gonna do the Founding Father song?
Well, yes. We love the Founding Father song.
Okay, we'll do the song. But we're gonna add in a little bit of extra information so you guys know what was really going on. All right.
Okay.
Y'all can start. Yeah, it's about the...
No.
All right. What? Hannah, we could actually use your help a little bit with the song. We just need some backup.
Just the song.
Yeah, it's do your thing.
Seriously? Already? I mean, I knew you'd need my help, but this is like immediately after the fight we just had.
Is it though?
You know, this actually reminds me of the Jay Treaty of 1794, wherein the U.S. and Great Britain tried to reinstitute trade post-revolution.
I'm not helping you. Hannah, don't do it for us. Do it for them. Do it for the kids. Oh, look at their faces.
Think of the children, Hannah! Think about it.
Okay, stop. Fine. Yeah? Yeah.
All right. So when we last left off with our odyssey of the history of the United States, the colony folk had just declared independence from Great Britain.
Sullivan set forward to boss the colonists around and to tell them what they needed to do.
These guys are now considered our Founding Fathers.
We are the founding fathers of your early U.S. history. We are the cool and did some stuff, it really is no mystery. We're in the books and in the news and on timelines and on TV. We are the founding fathers of your early U.S. history.
George Washington. Hello, I am George Washington, the first of many presidents. Before that, I was a general and generally confident. Then we got mad and spilled some tea and shot back up so we'd be free. I am a founding father of your early U.S. history. Picture it. Thank you. Picture it. Christmas night, 1776. The ragtag Continental Army was encamped along the Pennsylvania shore of the Delaware River, exhausted, demoralized, and uncertain of its future. It was a desperate time for the American Revolution. At stake, independence! The strappingly handsome and athletic, albeit small-bodied George Washington, was preparing to lead his troops across the Delaware River to face the Redcoat Army.
Troop morale was at an all-time low, but was bolstered by the publication of Thomas Paine's treatise, Common Sense.
These are the times to try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will in this crisis shrink from his responsibility. But he who stands and now deserves the love and thanks of men and women. Tyranny like hell is not easily conquered. But we have this consolation with us, that the harder defeat, the more glorious the triumph.
The strappingly handsome
That's right.
George Washington led his troops across the ice-swollen Delaware, 9 miles north of Trenton.
The weather was horrendous, and the river was treacherous.
Raging winds combined with Raging winds combined with rain, snow, and sleet to produce almost impossible conditions.
The next morning, they attacked the Redcoat troops, taking them by surprise. And after some fierce fighting, they surrendered.
News of the Americans' victory rapidly spread throughout the colonies, reinvigorating the failing spirit of the revolution.
The battle gave the Continental Army the confidence to mount 2 other campaigns, whose victories pulled the languished revolution out of the depths of despair, galvanized colonial support, shocked the British, and convinced potential allies such as France, Holland, and Spain that the Continental Army was a force to be reckoned with. Aaron Burr and Hamilton. I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. And you won't just let my country.
Right, okay. And we are not throwing away our money on those royalties. You better stick to the old song.
Fine. Aaron Burr and Hamilton both wanted to be president. They were not nice and talked some trash and acted really arrogant. They called a duel and shot some shots and bled a lot. One died, you'll see. They are some founding fathers of our early U.S. history.
Picture it! July 1804. A devastatingly dashing, just incredibly handsome Alexander Hamilton. And, I don't know, a mediocre-looking Aaron Burr.
Sir.
They were, what?
Aaron Burr.
Royalties, Ryan. Met on the field of battle. 2 men enter, only 1 man survives.
It is during the 3rd presidency of the United States, after George Washington and John Adams, and a great dispute arises about who will lead our young nation.
It was between Thomas Jefferson, Alexander Hamilton, and
Aaron Burr. Also, Aaron Burr was the sitting vice president of the United States.
Yeah, but Alexander Hamilton hated Aaron Burr. Here's why. Burr was a politician from New York. Hamilton felt like he didn't care about the people. He just wanted to be president because he craved the power.
Aaron Burr was a super rich dude who had some pretty good hair. But he decided to run for president even though Hamilton thought he would be very good at it.
So, Hamilton starts talking trash about Aaron Burr, telling people not to vote for him.
Aaron Burr is a profligate. A voluptuary in the extreme.
What does that mean?
It's not good.
It's bad.
So then Aaron Burr says,
What's your problem, bro? Why you blowing up my spot? Oh, I'm gonna duel you so hard.
okay. A duel is basically a gunfight where you stand still and shoot each other.
I'm strongly opposed to the practice of dueling for both practical and religious reasons. But if our interview must be conducted in its usual manner and it pleases God, then I am resolved to reserve and throw away my fight.
So Hamilton agrees to the duel, even though he knew he wasn't planning to fire his weapon.
In the early morning hours, Burr and Hamilton departed from 2 separate boats across Manhattan and rowed across the Hudson River to the heights of Weehawken, a very popular dueling area in New Jersey.
Duels were against the law in New York, so they had to go to New Jersey.
Yeah, you can get away with just about anything you want in New Jersey.
Nothing's really changed.
Nah. Anyway, procedures were put in place to prevent the participants from being prosecuted and to give all the witnesses plausible deniability.
The pistols were transported on different boats, so that the rowers could say under oath that they had never seen them. And everyone looked away during the duel, so that they wouldn't have to testify as witnesses.
A little after 7, Burr and Hamilton shook hands, turned their backs on one another, and walked the customary 10 paces.
Supposedly that Hamilton fired first into the air, though it's not clear whether this was intentional. And then Burr returns fire.
Sorry. I guess I got carried away.
Burr shot hit Hamilton in the lower abdomen above the right hip.
The musket ball ricocheted off Hamilton's rib, fracturing it. Ding, 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 ding. And they caused considerable damage to his internal organs, particularly his liver and his diaphragm before being lodged in his spine.
You shot me! Is this really how I die? So young, so handsome, so scrappy, so hungry.
Hamilton collapsed immediately, dropping the pistol.
Oh yeah.
He died the following day and was buried in Manhattan.
Now, Aaron Burr, who is known for being a notoriously bad shot,
I don't know about that. You guys saw me take him out.
was charged with murder. But the charge didn't stick because there was no evidence and no witnesses.
It's a cold case. Andrew Jackson.
Well, Andrew Jackson is my name. I am the 7th president. I like state rights and slavery, and I do not like the government. I'm on a $20 bill. They call me Old Hickory. I am the founding father of your early U.S. history. Picture it. 1828, an athletic and even more strikingly handsome. Andrew Jackson decides to run for president.
Now, people were alarmed when they heard that Old Hickory was running.
How do you get a nickname like Old Hickory?
Ah, man, he had this hickory cane and he would just beat people down with it. He'd be like,
Okay.
Drop. He was a loose cannon. Some people say he participated in over 100 duels.
That seems like an unreasonable number of times to stand in front of someone trying to shoot you.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely shot once near the heart, but he refused to have the bullet removed from his body and let it sit there for 20 years. In addition to his love of dueling,
Andrew Jackson was also the first president on whom an assassination attempt was made.
a man named Richard Lawrence approached Jackson with 2 pistols, both of which for some reason misfired. Jackson then proceeded to beat Richard Lawrence near death with his cane. James had to pull him off of his staff.
Wow. That's pretty interesting. wild.
Yeah, and he commanded the troops at the Battle of New Orleans.
He sounds awesome.
Yeah, he not though. He signed the Indian Removal Act.
But that's bad, and we don't talk about bad things. Right?
No, we're going to talk about this. It's important not to gloss over things in history. If we don't examine them, then we'll never learn from them.
The Indian Removal Act was signed on May 28, 1830. The act authorized Andrew Jackson to negotiate with the indigenous tribes in the southern United States for their removal to federal territory west of the Mississippi River in exchange for their homelands.
The 5 civilized tribes consisted of the Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Muskogee Creek, and Seminole.
The term civilized is a pretty ethnocentric
Racist.
term. These 5 tribes were deemed civilized because they shared many of the same cultural practices as European Americans. They all had their own communities, agricultural infrastructure, religions, and system of government.
Many tribes fiercely resisted removal from their homelands. A Choctaw chief was quoted in the Arkansas Gazette of 1831 as saying that the removal of the indigenous people from their lands was on the trail of tears and death.
Thousands of Native Americans and American soldiers were killed in the conflict.
But I don't get it. Why would Andrew Jackson do that?
Well, he thought he needed to move the indigenous people west of the Mississippi so that he could expand America.
He argued that the United States policy of attempting to, in his words, assimilate Indian tribes into white society had failed, and it would destroy the Indians' way of life.
Right. And forcing all these families out of their homes at gunpoint wouldn't?
Well, honestly, Andrew Jackson knew that white people really wanted their land, so they just decided to take it.
Yeah, but why did we let him?
It's complicated?
Racism.
We are the founding fathers of your early U.S. history. Some were cool and did some stuff, it really is a mystery. We're in the books and in the news and on timelines and on TV. We are the founding fathers of your early U.S. history.
How about time, Hannah?
Not good. We need to move on. What's next?
The Louisiana Purchase?
I think we skip some people. like, important people and important things.
Like who? What?
Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, the War of 1812.
Okay, bifocals, Declaration of Independence, we hate the British, we want to invade Canada. There you go.
Freemasons, inventors. We got to move on, Ryan.
Okay, listen, I know.
Yeah, look, we said we were going to have time for everything. Some stuff's just going to have to get cut out.
But I have a wig.
Ryan can't always get everything he wants. You got to stop acting like a child, Ryan.
I knew you guys would fall apart.
It's just like I predicted. Everyone can't be happy. Even if you do have your own show and your precious freedom. In a democracy, half the time, people aren't going to get what they want. That's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Thanks a lot, Joanna. That's really helpful.
Guys, we can still do it.
I mean, we're over on time anyway.
No.
We could probably squeeze it in.
No, we're gonna be musings from the Polar Richards out there. A bird in the hand of the...
No.
A friend in need is a friend indeed.
And that's our cue means it must be time for a quiz broadcast. Hello, live studio audience, and welcome to the History Show, a historical and hysterical quiz broadcast where we learn all the latest B, 80%, or C, less than 30%?
Probably the smallest one.
Ding, 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 that is correct. Less than 30% of Americans claim to know all of the lyrics. Can you sing it for us real quick?
Say.
I'm sorry, there's simply not enough time. Okay, contestant number 2. The Louisiana Purchase was the acquisition by the United States of America under the presidency of Thomas Jefferson in 1803 of 828,000 square miles of France claims to the territory of Louisiana. The U.S. paid a total of $15 million, less than 3 cents per acre for Louisiana Territory, but it covers all or part of the current U.S. states. At the time, the purchase faced domestic opposition because it was thought to be unconstitutional. Although Jefferson agreed that the U.S. Constitution did not contain provisions for acquiring territory, he decided to go at the president anyway in order to remove French presence in the region and to protect both U.S. trade access to the port of New Orleans and free passage on the Mississippi River.
What was the question?
I'm gonna need an answer.
To what? There was...
Oh, I'm sorry. Time's up. Next round.
It's okay.
Contestant number 3. True or false? Millard Fillmore was a president.
Yes?
Ding, 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 ding. That is correct.
That didn't really seem fair.
Okay, contestant number 2. Which is heavier? Is it the Liberty Bell?
Or?
Oh, I'm sorry. Time's up. It's still anybody's game. Contestant number 1. Think hard now. True or false?
Sure. What?
Judges?
Judges?
That is correct!
What? That wasn't even a real question. You just said
Okay, the final elimination round. Contestant number 3. Which of us is your favorite? You can say it. Say it.
I'm not gonna answer that.
That's incorrect. I am obviously her favorite. Okay, thanks for playing.
have a safe trip back to the table. Let us know when you get there so we know you're okay.
Okay, let's have a big round of applause for our winner, Ryan!
What? Like, what? That doesn't make sense. How did he win? You never even explained the rules.
Them's the breaks.
Fine. We need to move on anyway. What's next? We're in 1830. Okay, so the big idea here is that the U.S. is growing. We got a lot of real estate west of the Mississippi from the Louisiana Purchase, and we need to explore and push west.
The Wild West.
It was a time of conquest,
Yeah.
but also one of survival, persistence, and the merging of peoples and cultures that led to the continuing life of America.
This was Manifest Destiny.
Briefly, Manifest Destiny was the idea that it was the destiny of America to cover all the territories from coast to coast, even if it meant enslaving and killing all the indigenous people or going to war with Spain. The day was proclaimed in our town again. Pistols and guns loaded, knives gleaming in the streets. When there's a long season in the quiet, people are slow to wet their hands with blood. But once blood spilled, cut and shoot and cut me say. Ryan, I feel like that.
Just let him do it. Look how happy he looks.
The night before last, Jack Dutchins was assassinated. And just yesterday morning, on the street where he met his death, George Gumbert and Tom Reader were talking at the saloon. And then all of a sudden, Gumbert pulled out a knife and stabbed him. All right, we are moving on. Hannah, what's next in the script?
Mexican-American War?
Invasión estadounidense en Mexico.
This was the 2-year armed conflict we had with Mexico that led in the annexation of Texas and the establishment of the Rio Grande as the southern border of the United States. Don't mess with Texas.
It was more complicated than that. By bringing Texas to the Union, followed closely by California and 8 other states, the previous balance between northern and southern states became much more precarious.
In the north, industry and manufacturing was well established, but mostly limited to small-scale farming, while the South's economy was based on a system of large-scale farming that depended on the labor of black slaves to grow crops, especially cotton and tobacco. Okay, in this next section, we'll have Brian playing Stonewall Jackson, and we'll have Mackenzie. Mackenzie will be Robert E. Lee. There you go. And I will be playing Ulysses S. Grant. In the beginning.
You know what?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pass on that too. I think I'm gonna portray the big guy, Abraham Lincoln.
Cool, but I want to do my scene. Look, I have a hat.
Okay. Well, we can't do both scenes, so I guess we'll have to let the audience decide which of these two scenes they'd rather see. A scene that brings you into life over our most amazing presidents, or your little scene about Ladybug on the South.
You know what? No, I don't want them to vote. I hate debates. People just make up a bunch of things and pretend they're true. That's stupid. I'm going to do my scene.
We can't do that. We've got to decide what we're going to do together.
I knew your little show would fall apart sooner or later. I knew it wouldn't last.
I'm sick of y'all trying to tell me what to do and how to live my life. I should be able to be in charge of myself. You know what? I secede.
Oh, wait.
My half of the auditorium is now its own show. You do not exercise any authority over us.
See? What did I just say?
Mackenzie, don't be ridiculous. Come on, work with me on this. Don't let Hannah be right. I mean, you can be Mary Todd Lincoln. She's a woman.
No, you have been bossing me around, and I don't want to do it your way.
Fine. We don't need you. Trey will be Mary Todd.
What? No. Trey's going to be in my show. He's going to play a Southern gentleman.
No, Trey's going to be in my show.
That's impossible because he's in my show.
Okay.
Well, I do declare, Sheriff McCollum, it's mighty fine you would come forward on such a hot day as today. I do declare.
Well,
To be honest with you, Mary Todd,
Yes.
I fear for this nation we built on liberty and freedom that one day it might tear apart.
You must have worked up quite a thirst from your travels,
I
Sheriff.
sure did.
You go down that class Mama C and it's sweeter than a cup of molasses.
I like the
Mary
tongue.
Todd,
Oh!
grab one of your Fitzgibbon. Why don't you take the night off and go see a play? You like plays?
No, that's Southern.
Yes, I like the tea.
One of the greatest first ladies on the station.
All right. That's just clear. All right. 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. We are now engaged in a great civil war and test whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are now in the battlefield of that great war. The brave men who have struggled here have consecrated, far above anything our power can do to add or detract. They will little note what we say here, nor long remember it, but they will never forget what they did. That we here so highly resolved shall not have let these dead die in vain, and that under God there shall be a new birth of freedom. The government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from this earth.
What was that?
The Gettysburg Address.
I feel kind of stupid for arguing now.
Yeah, me too. Let's come together and get back on track. There you go.
Okay, look. You guys only have 10 minutes, and we have like another 150 years to get through. You're completely running out of time. I knew if you insisted on this harebrained scheme of having your own show, it would end in a disaster.
Look, Hannah, we know we're running out of time, but we don't want to fight anymore. We could just really use your help.
Yeah. Can we be friends now?
Like, maybe we can be allies? We're never going to get through this if we don't work together.
We want the same things. I'm just still kind of upset about the war. We're also mean to me.
We're sorry, Anna. Let's call a truce.
Okay, let's get on with it.
History! Okay, cool. So when we last left off, we were into the Reconstruction era. It was a really challenging time for America. And then in April of 1865, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, making it even more difficult.
It was really complicated.
And then what happened?
Well, things were pretty good for a minute or two. We moved into the Gilded Age.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
It was a time of great industry and wealth in our country, mostly due to the Industrial Revolution.
By 1890, American industrial production and per capita income had exceeded those of all other nations in the world.
We're rich.
There was also a time of great immigration in our country.
People were flooding to our country to be a part of this unprecedented growth. From 1880 to 1914, peak years immigration. More than 22 million people migrated to the United States.
Cool. Then what?
Well, the world was at a great unrest. World War I was raging in Europe, and eventually the U.S. had had to get involved.
This will be a great time to explore the role of women on the home front during World War I.
I was actually thinking we talked about Woodrow Wilson's 14 points of light.
When are we going to talk about women?
We can get to it. Actually,
Women!
Oh, no. We are not doing this again. We are going to vote this time. So, audience, if you would like to see Mackenzie's scene, please raise your hands. Oh, sorry, only the white males can vote.
Wait, what are you doing?
Well, no, that's how it was for us in U.S. history. Only white dudes were voting. Isn't that right, Hannah?
Yeah, but that's not really what they were talking about.
Well, wait. Maybe it should be? I mean, we haven't talked about that yet. Let's talk about voting for a minute here.
Yeah, voting is actually the most important part of being a U.S. citizen, and it's not something everybody can always do.
That's right. African Americans were afforded the right to vote until the passing of the 15th Amendment of the United States Constitution in 1870, which prohibits each government in the United States from denying citizens the right to vote, based on that person's race, color, or previous condition of servitude.
Even though that was passed in 1870, many minorities didn't get the right to vote until after the Civil Rights Movement. In many states, blacks couldn't vote until the 1960s.
And women didn't get suffrage until 1920, although the seeds of the women's suffrage movement goes as far back as 1840, with Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony leading the movement. She said, "The true republic, men, their rights, and nothing more. Women, their rights, and nothing less."
It took a long time for our country to become a place where everyone had equal rights legally. And even now, you could argue that it's not an even playing field.
It was and still is really complicated.
Basically, voting isn't something we should take for granted. People fought for it, and we shouldn't neglect it.
You're running out of time.
Okay, thanks for the subtle reminder, Hannah. After World War I, prosperity continues in America.
Welcome to the Roaring Twenties, kids.
Things are going great. We're all rich and drunk, and nothing will ever go wrong.
And then the stock market crashed.
And Congress passed prohibition, so we couldn't drink anymore.
And things got a lot less fun.
The Great Depression of the 1930s was caused by a variety of factors. There were social, economic, and agricultural considerations.
At the same time, there was a problem in the middle of the country. The land had been overworked, and there was a major drought, creating years of horrible crops and dust storms.
Well, I'm headed to California, I hear they got peaches the size of your head.
Why? Everybody's headed to California, eh? There ain't gonna be work for everybody.
Yeah, we ain't got much work out here. Okay, nothing. Deal?
Well, mister, if that's all you got, then I'll take it. Yeah.
How do we get out of the Great Depression?
Well, Franklin Delano Roosevelt initiated the New Deal with programs like the Works Progress Administration, which helped keep Americans working, and he created Social Security, which kept senior citizens out of poverty.
That's it? We just pulled it back together?
It was complicated.
Yeah, we were working on it, and then we were basically saved by World War II.
While everything was going down the toilet here, all over Europe, democracy was being threatened. Hitler was leading Germany in a land grab that was threatening the rights of many nations. Germany, Japan, and Italy formed the Axis powers.
December 7, 1941, the Imperial Japanese Navy has attacked Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, killing 2,400 Americans. President Roosevelt calls it a day that will live in infamy.
So, we joined the Allies to fight.
On the home front, things were looking good. Tons of companies popped up, providing lots of employment to Americans. And economically, at least, things were looking up. And then, the war was over. And it was time for the American dream.
Things were great. We had a little bit of money, radio, television, Judy Garland, Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole, Rosemary Clooney.
Okay, but things weren't so great for everybody. Our country had never completely healed from the Civil War. The next 2 decades were marked by activism and desegregation, leading to the Civil Rights Movement.
Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, W.E.B. Du Bois.
Emmett Till, Ruby Bridges, Martin Luther King.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead of us. But that doesn't matter with me now. Because I've been to the mountain. And I don't mind. Like anyone, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned with that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go to the mountaintop. And I've looked over. And I've seen the promised land. I might not get there with you. But I'm here to tell you that tonight, we, as a people, will make it to the promised land.
Guys, what is it, Hannah?
I hate to do this, but we only have 5 minutes, and you've got another 60 years left.
What are you talking about? We're only in the 1960s. What are we supposed to do?
You guys thought you could handle it.
We need to streamline. We gotta go
Right.
fast.
How many men there are in him? There was no 600 for sure close enough to blow the last breath in my face, but this time, it was different. He was an officer, an American. That wasn't supposed to make a difference to me, but it did.
What's that supposed to
right
be?
out here is like Andy out of speed, together 500. What the heck else was I supposed to do? I took this job, but I didn't know what I was doing.
This is definitely too much.
And you guys are completely out of time.
But Hannah, I didn't get to do half the stuff that I wanted to do because they kept doing what they wanted.
Look, that's democracy for you. Half the time you aren't going to get what you want. And that's if you're lucky. And you two were both shutting down Ryan anytime he wanted to do anything.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's our system. And I don't have a better one.
I guess.
Look, you could do more stuff about the history of women in the next show. I know how much it means to you.
Okay, and maybe the show after that, you can get into that stuff about Woodrow Wilson's 14 points of light. I'm sure it'll be super fun for the kids.
Yeah, and for the next show, I've been working on a monologue about Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah. We're never gonna let you do that one.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
You've got 90 seconds left. Lose or lose it.
What are we going to do? How are we going to get it all done?
Okay, look, we said we were gonna make it back to the present, right? Okay, so what if we start there and work our way back?
Ooh, that sounds hard.
No, that's good. That way we know we're all in.
Yeah, okay, look, it's 2022. Our nation is recovering from a global pandemic. We've been socially distancing.
Zooming.
Getting boosted.
Wearing masks.
It's been real weird.
It's 2016. The USA won 121 medals at the Olympic Games in Rio.
Everyone was doing the dab.
It's 2008 and Barack Obama is elected the first black president of the United States.
Beyonce released Single Ladies.
It's 2001 and George W. Bush was president.
And there's an old saying in Texas, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you cannot fool me twice.
On 9/11, the World Trade Center decided the first terrorist attack on domestic soil. The attack would lead our country into the war on terror and eventually invade Iraq. Go further back.
It's 1998 and Bill Clinton, who was from Arkansas, is president.
Everyone was doing the Macarena.
It's 1985 and Ronald Reagan, who was an actor, is president.
There was a Cold War.
Everyone's doing the moonwalk.
Go further back.
It's 1974. Richard Nixon was president. He was impeached in the Watergate scandal, but rather than face impeachment, he resigned, making him the first president in U.S. history to ever leave the office.
I am not a critic.
Everyone was doing the hustle.
And now we're back to the 60s.
Okay.
How many men are you?
Nope, we already hit Vietnam.
So, we're good. We did it?
Yeah,
We won.
yeah.
And that's the story of America.
How did I tell you, Hannah?
You're completely out of time. So, we have time to do a rap.
A recap rap.
No, guys, I can't say that.
Hannah.
Hannah.
Okay,
Give me a beat.
let me find something.
When I say U.S., you say A. U.S.
A.
U.S.
A.
When I say U.S., you say A. U.S. U.S.
Let me tell you about a story of a country of players. They headed out of England because they couldn't stand the haters. They landed on Plymouth Rock and they ate the Princess Giving, but they argued with the Indians. They had a few misgivings.
Now the footballers were ballers and they wrote the Constitution, but the haters back in England wanted taxes and confusion, so the colonists they say, why you fronting, Red